The notification pinged on my phone at 2:47 a.m., a sharp chirp slicing through the silence of our bedroom. My heart lurched as I fumbled for the device, the screen's cold glow stinging my eyes. The GPS tracker in my camera, my prized Nikon, the one I'd saved for 2 years to buy, blipped a location. Pawn King, 24-hour cash-in trade. Not the community center where Lisa said her ex, Derek, needed it for some charity event. A pawn shop. At 3 in the morning. My stomach churned, acid rising as I stared at the dot pulsing on the map, mocking me from across town. Lisa slept beside me, her breath soft and even, her dark hair fanned across the pillow like a halo. I wanted to shake her awake, demand answers, but my limbs felt leaden, pinned by a dread I couldn't name. Was it betrayal? Stupidity? Or just my paranoia rearing up again? I lay there, the phone's light casting shadows on the ceiling, my mind spiraling through every moment that led to this. It started 3 weeks ago, when Lisa mentioned Derek's call. He's organizing a fundraiser, she'd said, stirring pasta in our cramped kitchen. The air thick with garlic and tomato. Needs a good camera for photos. I told him about your Nikon. Her tone was casual, but her eyes flicked away, lingering on the stove a second too long. I'd brushed it off. Lisa was always helping people, even her ex. She was generous like that, wasn't she? But the unease had settled in. A faint hum in my chest I couldn't shake. Now, staring at the GPS, that hum roared into a scream. I slipped out of bed, the hardwood cold against my bare feet, and padded to the living room. The camera bag wasn't in its usual spot by the bookshelf. My pulse quickened as I checked the closet, the hallway, even the damn laundry room. Gone. I sank onto the couch, the leather creaking under my weight, and opened the GPS app again. The dot hadn't moved. Pawn King. I pictured Derek's smug grin, his too perfect hair, handing my camera over a grimy counter for a wad of cash. But why? And why had Lisa agreed to it? I wanted to believe there was an explanation. Maybe the event was at a venue near the pawn shop. Maybe Derek had stopped there for, what? To pawn something else? My mind scrambled for excuses, each one flimsier than the last. Lisa wouldn't lie to me. We'd been married 5 years, built a life in this tiny apartment with its chipped paint and noisy radiator. She was my anchor, the one who laughed at my bad puns, who left sticky notes with hearts on my laptop. But the dot on the map didn't lie. Something was wrong. I drove across town, the city a blur of neon signs and empty streets. The pawn shop's fluorescent lights buzzed like a dying insect, casting a sickly glow over the parking lot. My camera sat in a locked glass case near the register, its lens glinting under the harsh light. I felt like I'd been punched. The clerk, a guy with a greasy ponytail, shrugged when I asked about it. Some dude brought it in a couple hours ago. Paid cash, no questions. I wanted to smash the case, grab my camera, and run, but I just stood there, numb, the weight of betrayal sinking deeper. Back home, I didn't wake Lisa. I couldn't. Not yet. I sat at the kitchen table, the scent of last night's dinner still lingering, and replayed every conversation, every glance, every moment I might have missed. There was the time Derek called her late, just to catch up, and she'd laughed it off, saying he was lonely since his breakup. Or the way she'd been vague about her evenings out, claiming work stuff, or girls' night. I'd trusted her. God, I'd trusted her. When she woke at 7, the sunlight streaming through the blinds, she found me at the table, my phone open to the GPS app. Hey, you're up early, she said, her voice warm, oblivious. Then her eyes landed on the screen, and her smile faltered. What's that? Where's my camera, Lisa? My voice was low, steady, but it trembled with the effort to stay calm. She froze, her hand halfway to the coffee pot. It's with Derek. For the event. Then why's it at a pawn shop? I turned the phone toward her, the map glaring between us. Her face crumpled, but only for a second before she straightened, her jaw tight. I don't know, Tom. Maybe he needed money for the fundraiser. Maybe. Stop. I stood, the chair scraping against the floor. Don't lie to me. Not now. The air between us thickened, heavy with unspoken truths. She sank into a chair, her hands twisting in her lap. I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispered, her voice breaking. Derek. He's been struggling. He asked for help, said he'd borrow the camera, sell it, and pay us back. I thought I could fix it before you noticed. I stared at her, my chest tight with disbelief. You let him pawn my camera? For what? To bail him out? Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you'd say no. Her voice rose, sharp with desperation. You hate him, Tom. You've always hated him. But he's not a bad guy, he's just lost. Lost. I laughed, bitter and hollow. He's using you, Lisa. And you're letting him. What else is going on? Are you seeing him? Her silence was louder than any answer. Her eyes, wide and glassy, darted to the floor. My heart sank, a cold, heavy stone in my chest. Lisa, I said, softer now, pleading. Tell me the truth. I'm not sleeping with him, she said finally, her voice barely audible. But we've been talking. A lot. He gets me, Tom. Things with us haven't been right for a while, and he... Stop. I couldn't hear it. Not yet. I walked to the window, staring at the street below, the world moving on while mine crumbled. I wanted to scream, to cry, to rewind time to when I trusted her implicitly. But the truth was there, in her hesitation, her guilt, her excuses. She hadn't cheated, not physically, but she'd let Derek back into her heart, piece by piece, and I hadn't even noticed. The days that followed were a fog of pain and clarity. I got the camera back, paying more than it was worth to reclaim it. Lisa and I talked, fought, cried. She swore she'd cut contact with Derek, that she'd choose us, but her promises felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. I wanted to believe her, but every time I looked at her, I saw that pawn shop, that dot on the map, the betrayal she'd tried to hide. One night, alone in the dark, I found a photo on my camera's memory card, one I hadn't taken. It was Lisa, laughing, her eyes bright, Derek's arm around her at some event I'd never heard about. The timestamp was a month ago. I deleted it, my hands shaking, but the image burned into my mind. She'd been slipping away, and I'd been too blind to see it. I didn't leave her. Not yet. But as I sat there, the camera heavy in my hands, I realized the real betrayal wasn't the pawn shop or even Derek. It was that I'd lost the Lisa I thought I knew, and I wasn't sure I could ever get her back.